My first trip to Manhattan since January, my first time on the express bus since January, and for the first time in 2 years, this is my first time on the express bus in the very front row because it's been blocked off since the pandemic. And this is my first time taking the SIM8X because I've took the regular SIM8 a few times before, but I never really got a chance to take the SIM8X before. In fact, that morning when I was able to drive over to the Staten Island Mall, when I got to where the bus starts at, I was able to park across the street and go across the street, and this was just a few minutes before it started to go off. And at first I was like, another white Prevost, because honestly I wanted to take either a blue Charleston, which 9 of them were at a Charleston depot at the time, and or a MCI D4500 CL because they're going to retire soon. But either way, I was okay with it because when I got on the bus, at first when I saw the first row open, I asked the driver, is the first row available? And he said yes, and I got happy. I was actually content. And I was also content with the fact that because my last time on the express bus, now please be respectful towards in the comments with regards to this driver and everything, because there was a lot of circumstance going on with the driver, Prevost 2727, from when I got caught by the driver and he asked me not to record and stuff. But I was happy that when I took this bus on the SIM8X, I don't know if the driver saw me or not, but either way, I was able to record in its entirety. By the way, just for a brief note on which bus I would have preferred instead of a white Prevost. Now, I have nothing against the Prevost X3-45 Commuter, because to me, they're the best buses in the fleet, even better than the Novas and Excelsiors. It's just when you live on Staten Island, or at least in Ulmer Park territory, you're used to the white Prevost. So, in a way, I wouldn't mind taking I've already taken 2 of Meredith's blue Prevosts so far, 1566 and 1574 to be more precise. And I have yet to take a blue Charleston around this time, and I would much rather take another MCI D4500 CL, or maybe perhaps one of their CTs, only because the CLs are basically going to be retired by the end of the year. And CTs, I know from Castleton, it's only a matter of time before they retire. And the ones out of Charleston, because they're newer from 2013, because Castleton's is 2008, I basically have all the time in the world to take a blue Prevost. So I just want to take one more MCI before they're completely retired. But I'm still content with the Prevost X3-45 Commuter, the white Prevost to be more precise. To me, the white Prevost has taken the title of the RTS for being the best buses in the MTA fleet. So this is basically my first premiere video or road trip since January, and for a time it seemed like I only had only one video per week. Well, why is that? Well, the truth is that if some of you recall, back in January, I announced on the post on YouTube's community page, and also on Twitter, that I decided to take a break. And it was abrupt that I had to take a break because, admittedly, there was a lot going on in my life, both on the world scenes and also in my personal life. There was just a lot that was going on basically around that time. So I just realized that I just had to take a few steps back. Just, take some time to recuperate and just to get my thoughts together and stuff. Because with taking care of YouTube and also with work-related stuff, and not to mention just some other things going on in my life, it was just really overwhelming. And I'm not saying that I'm completely over the stress that I'm going through. In fact, I'll say this to all my fellow YouTubers out there, I have nothing against my channel. I have nothing against buses and trains. In fact, I've enjoyed buses and trains ever since I was a kid. Ask so many of my friends and family members that I enjoy buses, trains, planes, and so on and so forth. In fact, it's in the description of my channel. It's just, there was a point where my hobby that I enjoy was one thing that was becoming overwhelming. And there were a few other things that I had to take care of first before I felt it necessary to be able to come back to YouTube. I mean, don't get me wrong, you saw that while I was on break, there were some buses and trains that I was able to catch in and around Staten Island, and I was able to upload to them to Instagram, and some of them I haven't got back to just yet around this time, but soon you'll be able to see them on YouTube. By the way, speaking of my Instagram page, I want to apologize because ever since I changed the name of both my Instagram and my Twitter page, I'm sure some of y'all have been trying to click the link in the description and also in the about us page to be able to try to follow me on Instagram, and y'all may not have been able to, so I was gonna fix that. But either way, I just felt it necessary to just take a break. So why am I on this trip now? Because things are a little bit better. It's not 100% that everything is a-okay, everything's good in my life, and I could go back to the way I was, because in some cases, I may just take trips just once a month now instead of every other week like I was before this. And also, I felt it necessary around this time to be able to take this trip because I want to take one more trip on an Orion 7 OG hybrid, which is basically going to retire at any time. So basically, coming up next week, you're going to be able to see this. See my trip on one more trip on an Orion 7 OG hybrid. Although in a few minutes you're basically going to see a bus fanning video I was able to take by the Queensboro Bridge. Either way, what are your thoughts on this video? Let me know in the comments.